All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and start recording, just so that anyone that wasn't able to make it today has the chance to see kind of just this general meeting, in case they missed it, because I know people are busy right now. But welcome to the January general meeting. I guess we're not really sure when we're gonna have general meetings this semester yet. We'll be sending out some when to meets. Make sure and fill those out. I know mechanical sent one out, special systems sent one out a while ago, and electrical. Just decided on our time, hopefully for the semester. Maybe that'll still change, but we think that we got that going. Eventually, we'll decide a general meeting time for this semester, but that's a little bit less urgent than some of our sub teams right now. But as we start off, I think they were pretty warmed up, but we might as well do an icebreaker just to make sure. And John, you were gonna lead the icebreaker, right?
Maybe. Sure. Okay, so classes are coming up. What class are you most excited for, and which are you most nervous for? Anyone want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Not looking forward to data structures and algorithms because I've heard many bad things. Looking forward to embedded systems because it could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Those two both sound scary, but
Hey, but embedded systems is like essentially just building a robot, so that's pretty neat.
that is pretty cool. Like, are you actually like physically building a robot?
Yeah, you like buy a kit and stuff for the class, so.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
What about you, John?
I've heard bad things about thermo, but honestly, I think like elastic bodies will be probably the most fun.
Yeah, it's a pretty good class.
How about you, Nick?
I mean, I'm taking the same classes as you, but I guess I'm less excited for electrical engineering. I don't know. Maybe you're not taking that one.
I don't think I'm taking that one.
Yeah, I got like a weird schedule where I had to like bump up like a junior year first semester class. Like it just didn't work in the schedule for some reason.
Huh. That's weird. But yeah.
Yeah.
MJ, how about you?
Mine is the same answer for both. I have a class I'm taking called Advanced Sports Data with Dr. Waite, who I've taken regular sports data with before. And he's really funny and really cool. He's also just really intense. So it's going to be really hard, but it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoy that. Shazia, how about you?
I'm also taking elastic bodies, but I'm kind of nervous for it. I'm kind of scared. But one class that I'm excited to take is I'm taking like an ACE history course. I think it's called America After 1877. So
Okay.
that'll be interesting to learn.
Who's your E-bodies professor?
I have Negabon.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Who's your professor?
I don't remember, but it's not Negabon. I wish it was Negabon. Dude, Negabon's a cool dude.
He is. I agree.
I had him for statics last semester, and he's such a good teacher.
Negabon the GOAT.
I've heard good things about him. I wish I took statics last semester, but I'm taking it this semester, and there was only like one professor available, so missed out.
In statics, Shazia, what section are you in? Do you know?
Let me.
Because I'm TAing like 5 of the sections.
Oh dang.
Okay.
Yeah.
My range and let you know. I don't know.
Okay, you're good. No rush.
I'll let you know though.
Okay, sounds good.
Alyssa, how about you?
You're muted.
Okay, I couldn't unmute myself for a hot minute. Okay, I think most excited for probably my circuits class, just because we're gonna be using Arduinos, and from hearing you guys talk about them, I got like interested in that. So getting that information is great. Probably least, I don't know, most nervous for probably the same class. just because I feel like I might break something or burn something down.
Who's your
And
professor for that class?
Shu.
Shu?
Xiaoshan.
Have fun. Shu scares me.
Why? He's such like a
I
small
don't know.
baby.
He yelled at me one time when I was like a freshman, and now I'm just
Aw.
scared of him. But that's a really fun class. So I had a nightmare teacher. So she was better than the teacher I had, though, for sure.
Who'd you have?
I had a guy named, his name was Dr. Kelty. He was retired, and because they had no one else to teach a class, and so he flew to and from Lincoln from Texas twice a week, and they paid for his flights because there's no one else that would teach a class.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
intense.
Yeah, he could not have cared less about the class.
Oh god.
So at least she will help you guys through it at least.
Joel, how's your classes looking this semester?
I am super excited for my ALEC 410 environmental leadership class because that's the end of my engineering leadership minor, and I get to talk about cool environmental stuff. But I'm scared for ESEN 370 because my advisor said it's fine for me to take it and I have all the prerequisites, but for some reason I feel like I'm not ready for it. I don't know why I'm taking it, but I am. Working.
Maybe. Best of luck.
Should be fun though. Right. Is that everyone done?
Think so?
Okay. Well, hopefully we're all warmed up. The ice has been broken. And we can move on to some other stuff. And I mean, MJ, you're gonna take over for a little bit from here, right?
Yeah. So the university is requiring everybody to do a COVID test before. Technically, it's supposed to be like before you come to campus. But I think with just like, it's pretty much before you go into any sort of like classroom building. There's going to be people at like wellness checkpoints checking on the app whether or not you've had your test and whether or not you tested negative. So first you have to complete these two things and then download the app. Otherwise, there's a way to do it online if you don't have a smartphone. And then basically you schedule a test, and it's not a nostril test, it's a saliva test. So they just give you this tiny test tube and a straw, and they tell you to basically drool until you can fill up to the line. It's very gross, and I was very dehydrated when I went, so it took 8,000 years. So I recommend drinking a lot of water before you go to take the test. And Joel, if you want to copy the link and post it in the chat, just for everyone, or the bottom one, if anyone needs more information or has any questions about it. I believe all of the information is on that page, but it's a lot better than the nostril test, that's for sure. And then AXP has Snapchat now. A lot of people, like Mikey actually came up with this idea, which I thought was super genius. A lot of people don't really know that you can scan a QR code with your phone if you have a smartphone. But they know what to do with like a snap code, even though it's the exact same process. So we're gonna put these on a lot of our posters and promotional materials in place of a QR code. And then we can just, message people who are interested, and yeah, just stuff like that. If anyone wants to do like a takeover, like a day in the life of an engineering student or not an engineering student, or me sitting in my dorm doing online classes, being an AXP member, just kind of stuff like that, like absolutely let me know. I think that stuff is super fun, and yeah, we can just have some fun with it.
And I just typed the Snapchat in there. It's UNL_AXP, right?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So for just other news that we have going on generally in the club, we have our spring orientation February 11th. You're supposed to register yourself if you're attending. That's all been sent out in just the the general chat and the aerospace Slack. And of course, AXP has to, give a little bit of a update. And so one thing that we've been working on, especially MJ, is trying to record a couple short videos instead of just talking about the projects, talking about what some people have gotten out of this club, and just trying to approach it from a different way to hopefully attract some more new members. So if you're interested in that, let MJ know. I just did it right before this. It was pretty easy, pretty fun. And just in case you guys haven't heard, we do have a new lab space in SEC 241 temporarily for the semester because there's asbestos in some of the old lab. We still have the shop at the old lab place, but we don't have the actual like 2 rooms that we would consider like the lab space. So that's new. We might have to transfer things from building to building, but we'll get around it while they fix our asbestos.
SEC is Scott Engineering Center, just for
Mhm.
anyone who doesn't know. It's the building right next to Nebraska Hall. Unfortunately, they're not connected because that's what the construction is. So you do have to go outside to get back and forth, which in the winter is kind of the pits, but it's not too bad.
Hopefully they get that done soon, although I don't think it'll be this semester at all, sadly. And a new thing that we have coming up, we're hopefully hosting some different, camps, learning sessions, things like that, for maybe learning SolidWorks, soldering, basic Arduino stuff. This is partially for the Rock-On team, which we'll talk about later, just because they need to have some basic, soldering and C++ Arduino knowledge. But Saturday, February 27th from 1 to 3 p.m., we'll have some sort of soldering workshop where we'll pretty much get a soldering kit, and it's not too difficult. We'll just pretty much go through that together, and people will share tips and tricks, stuff like that, and it'll be a good time. So I think I posted in the general Slack just a link to register for that. We are going to have like a limited number of people that can come for COVID reasons. We only have a certain number of soldering irons too. And because we think that AXP Club can purchase these soldering kits. So we're giving a priority first to Rock-On members, people participating in the Rock-On. And if you don't know what that is, we'll talk about it in a little bit. Then if we don't fill up all the spots that way, some AXP members. And then if we don't fill up all the spots there, we can open it up to the general club to see if anyone else is interested.
Which don't feel discouraged by like, oh, I'm not on Rock-On, I might not get in, I'm not even going to apply. There's only 6 Rock-On members. And we're talking about having like 10 slots, maybe more if we can get a bigger room. So if you're interested, absolutely, drop us a line and we'll make it work for, the AXP people who want to join.
Absolutely.
Joel, do you think this is going to be just like a one-time thing, or if it's successful, are there going to be more workshops like this in the future?
Hopefully it's not a one-time thing. Hopefully this will be a first time of many. Maybe we host this every semester, especially with new members, way to draw them in. And when we're working with the Big Red Sat kids, we're going to have to teach them how to solder too. So maybe doing something similar to this, except we kind of have that in the works with a lie detector kit, just soldering some things to make a little lie detector. Noisy, but fun. All right. And now on to just the general team progress. We have all of the HAB payloads decided. So if you guys haven't heard, because I know everyone's been working on their own individual payloads or individual teams payloads or whatever. The electrical team has XP communication and Global Star communication. That'll be worked on a bit going forward. Maybe even trying to use this AI software for smart data compression called Clepsydra, which John McClure, fancy businessman, I don't know how to describe him at this point. I just keep saying fancy businessman. He has access to that, so we might be testing that if we can figure out how to get it to work. And then special systems, I could read off what's there, but I don't know, Michael, if you want to give a brief description of it. I don't know if I can do it justice, or anyone else.
For which part? Sorry.
Just the special systems payload.
Oh, okay, yeah. I actually described it more on my side. If you want me to just do it then, that way you don't just say the same stuff twice.
Absolutely. All right, and then the big red sat payloads, we have those 3 payloads. People are testing radiation, and then we'll do a little bit of explanation on how it cooks food, just a fun little thing, and then bioluminescence of mushrooms, going along with that, and then nanosat trying to simulate what a CubeSat would be at that altitude and such. All right, and more under progress, we have Rock On, which those of you who don't know, it's a sounding rocket payload that goes into space. We'll get it April 1st, and then we'll be done by mid-May. And right now we have 6 people working on 2 different payloads, or I think they're actually the same payloads, but they're working on 2 separate payloads to manufacture, code, and go through that design process. It should be a lot of fun for them, and hopefully people who aren't on those, those 6 people will also be able to help out and learn along the way. It should be a lot of fun. And we've reached out to Rock On people because we need to send some emails and make sure some registration stuff gets figured out, because that's been a little tricky lately. But we have sent all that information, and everyone should have that going forward. All right, I guess before we move on, does anyone else have any AXP general team progress to report? No, sounds good then. All right, so specifically for electrical update, we decided our weekly meetings are Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Probably in the lab, but if there's another team meeting there and we don't need to actively be in the lab, we might move if we're just doing research or something like that. I'm sure we'll work that out. And we're just working on our 2 payloads for the most part. And I guess that's really all electrical has for now. We'll get started with more once the semester starts.
Mechanical, we've been still working on the truss. All our CAD models are complete for the holders that are going to go between like the aluminum T-slot bars and the wine coolers, which actually hold the payloads. So now that those are done, hopefully when we get back to campus later this week and next week, we can start printing those and then test them. And then also all of the truss materials have arrived in the M&E office. So also this next week, we can start assembling those, hopefully find a welder and make the truss a reality. That we also have to work on sensors a little bit. And now that a lot of the payloads are kind of getting their ideas finalized, we can probably get a clearer idea of which sensors we're going to use, and we can begin modeling those. Also, a little plug for the when to meet poll. I think everyone on the call right now has filled it out, but if you have not, please try to fill out that when is a good poll so that I can hopefully get stuff scheduled like tomorrow, figure out a meeting time. So try to get that done by the end of today if possible.
So, and I guess you mentioned welding. I know we talked about reaching out to one of the professors that teaches welding at Innovation Campus. Did you end up reaching out to them or not?
I did. I've not heard anything back yet.
Okay.
I'll do that again. I'll try a different person though.
Yeah, I know people can be busy.
Well, if we're being honest, was eavesdropping on 100K when they were in the lab earlier when I was also in the lab. And they met with a welder today. So if you reach out to Nick, whatever his last name is, the 100K lead, he might be able to hook you up.
Okay. Thanks. I'll do that.
Awesome. That's good to hear. All right. And I know I have to reshare for this. But Michael, if you want to.
Yeah, I was like, I definitely wrote something down. I don't know why it's just showing the. Anyways, okay. So for special systems, most recently, the kind of big thing is we decided on our payload. And what we'll be doing is seeing how well radiation is absorbed, or rather reflected less off chicken embryonic cells or an egg, and how that changes based on a changing magnetic field or the different strengths of a magnetic field. And then there's a secondary goal, which kind of is necessary based on the first one, is measuring the changes in the strength of Earth's magnetic field with different altitudes. And then next, we will figure out heating systems for the entire HAB project, as well as an APRS tracking system that Joel had mentioned to me. And then right now, we're working on the sensor shopping list for our payload.
Awesome. It's good to hear. All right. I guess getting close to wrapping up, just current objectives right now with Big Red Sat at least, and electrical and special systems for our payloads, kind of creating budgets for those and mock-up designs, or at least that's what the Big Red Sat team is working on right now. And I think all the sub teams are working on deciding meeting times for the semester. All right. Any other current objectives that anyone can add? All right, no. Sounds good. Well, yeah, I guess another current objective with Big Red Sat. John, I guess the MEC team have been starting to lead one of their CAD classes through Tinkercad. I don't know, John, if you want to say much about this.
Yeah, I think we talked about it a little bit at the MEC meeting, but it's basically just like a really simple web-based CAD tool. And the idea is that we'll introduce kids to some of the basics of CAD, maybe get them like some actual 3D printed models from that. And then if they're interested in that and they prove to be really good at that, then we move them on to maybe something like Autodesk Inventor. But for now, I was going to mention this in the mechanical slide, but I forgot. If any of you guys have like an extra hour or two this weekend, or you're just looking for something else to do, you can make designs on Tinkercad and probably just like take screenshots of them as kind of challenges for the kids. Because I know that while some of the kids are still working on them, kids like Evan, Tyler are absolute wizards at Tinkercad and maybe need some other place to channel their energy. It's by no means an assignment, but if you have extra time, you can make a model or two for them to work on. Oh, and Joel says that we do have SolidWorks licenses, but we have to be careful with the stuff we release. So.
Yeah, if we want to give them to the kids, we can, but we've been given SolidWorks license by SolidWorks for specifically our team.
Yeah.
How those get distributed? It's unclear.
Yeah, hopefully that works. Also, if you want to join the Tinkercad class, right now it's not really functional because I haven't figured out how to make all the classroom functions work. Hopefully, though, in the future, there will be other ways like for distributing assignments and sharing files across the class. So if you want to join, there's a class code there or a link to.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I guess just another note, we're doing this with Big Red Sat just to teach them things on the time. I will copy this chat link and post it in the chat quick. So we're doing this with Python before too. If you didn't already go through the Python solo learn, it was really helpful for a lot of people, even people who are know Python. It was good to go through there and at least have that review. So it's a good experience, and even if you know CAD, it'd probably be good to go through the Tinkercad just for, I don't know, practice or whatever.
And if anybody is like looking for a challenge, or an excuse, I guess, to go on there and mess around with Tinkercad and not do their homework, not that we would ever encourage that. I know that I don't remember who told me about like maybe printing out like almost like a puzzle, like a 3D puzzle of the AXP logo or something like that, designing that on Tinkercad or something like that, and then using the 3D printer and then sticking magnets to the different pieces and sticking it up on the cabinet. Sounds really decent. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. Maybe we can have competing designs, and whoever's puzzle is the best can be the puzzle we print out.
That'd be super cool.
It also has a function where you can make like Lego pieces. Like you can change the units from millimeters to studs, so you can print like giant Lego models, which I think is pretty cool.
Maybe we'll have to make a giant Lego model of the AXP logo.
SolidWorks can't do that, can it?
There might be a plugin or something, but we'll find out. All right, just wrapping things up going forward. Keep trying to attend the Big Red Sat meetings if you can. Fill out those when to meets just so we get that all figured out as soon as we can, and we make sure that people can actually make those meetings. And I don't know, a note by MJ at the bottom there. Make this semester your bitch. I don't know. Rock on. You guys do great things already. Keep working hard. And if you ever have any problems, reach out. I know the lead's here, and I think everyone else wants everyone else to succeed. So, we're a place of support and all that good stuff. All right. Well, I'm going to stop recording now just because this is probably the end of most, meeting stuff.